As Christmas wraps, wails in its cold, festive glow, not all is merry. From forgotten asylums to ancient castles, there are locations where the dead walk again during the holiday season. This Christmas, take a step into the eerie side of Wales, where restless spirits stir, awaiting to share their chilling tales. 1. North Wales Asylum, Denbigh. The North Wales Asylum in Denbigh once housed hundreds of patients, many of whom never saw freedom again. Now abandoned, its hallways are filled with whispers of the past. On Christmas Eve, visitors report hearing chains dragging across cold floors, and some say the spirit of a woman, clad in a tattered gown, wanders the halls. Her face is twisted in despair, forever trapped in the memory of her cruel treatment. This ghostly figure is said to appear on Christmas, reliving the pain of her final days in the asylum. Her footsteps echo in the empty halls, and on cold nights, her mournful wail can sometimes be heard drifting through the rooms, sending chills down the spine of anyone nearby. To St. Tudno's Churchyard, Llandudno high on a cliff in Llandudno, St. Tudno's Churchyard is home to a haunting figure, a bride who died tragically on Christmas Eve. During a violent storm, she was thrown from her carriage and lost to the sea. Now, on cold, frosty nights, her ghost is seen gliding between the gravestones in a white wedding gown, glowing eerily in the moonlight. Her cries for her lost love echo through the night, especially on Christmas Eve, when her sorrow is strongest. On these nights, the air feels thick with the weight of her grief, and some claim to hear the sound of a carriage approaching, followed by the bride's desperate scream as she is hurled into the sea. 3. Gwydir Castle, Llanrwst. Gwydir Castle, surrounded by dense forests, has a long history of tragedy. The most famous ghost here is a woman in a blood-stained dress, believed to be a noblewoman murdered on Christmas Day centuries ago. Her restless spirit is seen roaming the halls, forever searching for justice. On Christmas Eve, her apparition appears more frequently, and her soft, mournful whispers fill the castle as though pleading for help. Guests who stay overnight describe feeling a sudden chill and an unnerving sense of being watched, while others report glimpsing a flash of red in the corner of their eye, only to turn and find nothing but cold stone walls. 4. St. Asaph Cathedral, Denbighshire Street. Asaph Cathedral, with its ancient stone walls, holds a secret. A monk who died here centuries ago is said to return each Christmas Eve. Visitors report hearing faint chanting and the rustle of robes in the dimly lit cathedral. The monk's shadowy figure is seen moving between the pews, his face obscured, as though he is still bound to the cathedral, unable to leave. One visitor felt a cold hand on their shoulder while praying. When they turned, no one was there. The monk's presence is strongest around Christmas, when his spirit seems most active, as though he is still waiting for redemption. 5. Llyn, Cwmffynnon, Snowdonia. Cwmffynnon, a remote lake in Snowdonia, is said to be haunted by the spirit of a mother who drowned trying to save her child. On Christmas Eve, her figure rises from the water, her arms outstretched in search of the child she could never save. Visitors report hearing her heart-wrenching cries on the wind, adding to the lake's chilling aura. One visitor who ventured to the lake on a snowy Christmas night described hearing the soft cries of a woman. The surface of the water began to ripple unnaturally, and a figure rose from the depths. Her face was distorted with sorrow, and as the visitor approached, the figure vanished into the mist. 6. Queen's Arcade, Cardiff's Queen's Arcade, built over ancient burial grounds, is another haunted location. Cold spots are frequently reported, along with the sound of whispers drifting through the empty halls. On Christmas Eve, these spirits seem to stir more often, moving between the aisles and casting long, eerie shadows. One late-night shopper reported feeling cold fingers brush against their neck and seeing a shadow dart across the floor. Others have witnessed fleeting figures moving in the corners of their vision, only to vanish when looked at directly. 7. Brecon Barracks, Powys. The Brecon Barracks, where soldiers lived and died, is known for its restless spirits, particularly around Christmas. The sounds of boots, marching, and drums echo through the empty barracks, and one of the most well-known ghosts is that of a soldier who died in a Christmas battle. Guests who've stayed in the barracks overnight have heard boots stomping in the hallways, though when they investigate, no one is there. Others report feeling as though they are being watched, especially on Christmas Eve, when the air feels thick with the presence of the lost souls. 8 Gwrych Castle, Abergele Gwrych Castle, with its haunted history, is at its most active during the Christmas season. The spirit of a woman, believed to have been murdered during a grand Christmas party centuries ago, is said to haunt the castle. Her ghost is often seen wandering the corridors, still searching for justice. Guests who visit on Christmas report hearing the unmistakable sound of high heels clicking on the marble floors, followed by the sudden rush of cold air. Some say they've even seen her figure, shimmering in Victorian dress, moving through the hallways, forever trapped in time. 9. Hafren Forest, Powys. Hafren Forest, with its eerie quiet, is home to the ghost of the Grey Man, a figure seen walking the forest paths, especially on Christmas. Thought to be the spirit of a traveler who perished here long ago, his ghost is said to appear from the mist on cold nights. One hiker, trekking through the forest on a snowy Christmas night, described feeling an overwhelming sense of dread as they passed through the trees. A shadowy figure emerged from the mist, walking toward them in silence, and just as suddenly as it had appeared, the figure vanished into the snow. 10. A55 Expressway. The A55 Expressway, known for its eerie encounters, is haunted by figures who dart across the road, only to vanish as quickly as they appear. One of the most famous ghosts is a soldier who died in a Christmas battle, and his spirit is often seen walking along the road, only to disappear before drivers can help. Drivers who have experienced this ghostly encounter report seeing the figure of a soldier walking along the road, vanishing when they approach. The soldier's presence is strongest around Christmas, when his restless spirit seems to return to the place of his death. 11. Pontcysyllte Aqueduct, Wrexham. Pontcysyllte Aqueduct, an impressive feat of engineering, is home to the ghosts of workers who died during its construction. Their spirits are most active around Christmas, appearing as shadowy figures walking along the aqueduct. Some visitors have heard faint voices in the wind, and others have seen figures moving quickly between the pillars of the aqueduct. One witness, crossing the aqueduct on a cold winter night, saw a shadowy figure walking ahead of them. When they reached the spot, no one was there, and the eerie silence lingered long after they passed through. 12. Bute Park, Cardiff. Bute Park, located in the heart of Cardiff, is known for its haunted past. On Christmas Eve, the park feels different, as though the spirits of its history stir more intensely. Visitors report hearing footsteps behind them, only to turn and find no one there. Others have seen figures in Victorian clothing, standing silently among the trees. A walker, taking a late-night stroll in the park on Christmas Eve, reported hearing the sound of footsteps behind them. When they turned, no one was visible. The presence of these apparitions feels strongest around Christmas, as though the spirits are reliving a moment from the past. 13. Aberystwyth. Aberystwyth, a charming coastal town, has a dark history. The ghost of a sailor who drowned in a Christmas storm haunts the Victorian pier. His apparition is often seen gazing out over the sea, waiting for a ship that will never return. Visitors have reported seeing his figure, standing at the end of the pier, his silhouette outlined against the crashing waves. His mournful gaze remains fixed on the horizon, as though he's still waiting for the ship that never arrives. 14. Angel Hotel, Abergele. The Angel Hotel in Abergele, a place of hospitality, is known for its haunted history. During the Christmas season, its spirits seem to stir more frequently. Guests have reported hearing strange noises, laughter, footsteps, and even doors opening and closing by themselves. One guest, staying in room 7, heard the sound of footsteps in the hallway late on Christmas Eve. When they opened the door, no one was there, but the faint smell of perfume lingered in the air. 15. Snowdon Mountain. Snowdon, Wales' highest peak, is not just a popular destination for hikers, but also a place of eerie legends. The spirits of those who have lost their lives on the mountain are said to roam the peaks. On Christmas Eve, when snow falls thick on the ground, their restless spirits can sometimes be seen wandering the slopes. A climber descending from Snowdon on Christmas Eve reported hearing voices calling out in the wind. When they turned to look, no one was visible. The mountain's haunting presence is strongest at Christmas, when the silence of the snow amplifies the feeling of being watched. If you enjoyed these chilling tales from Wales, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more spooky stories. Hit the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content. Who knows what eerie adventures await next?